Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Clingin On. And yes, we are about to be tackling the final Devidian episode, Night of the Comet. We are fortunately free of the Ferengi for the moment. I imagine they'll pop up again. They're like Cardassian voles, or rats, or pigeons, or any other small annoying bundle of fur and problems. Except, of course, Ferengi don't have fur, so... may have broken the metaphor slightly there. Anyhow, let us go to the Bepi 113 system, which officially, of course, does not exist. Yes, folks, somehow somebody kept a star off the star maps, despite it being in the middle of one of the hottest sectors of the galaxy. Yes, I can only assume anybody who ever attempted to update the star maps with this thing of say, hey guys, you missed this star right in the middle of the Eta Eridani sector, was thanked politely for their information, assured that it would be updated in the next release, and was then never heard from again. In the meantime, let us get some of the more unscrupulous members of the crew off to Drazana. Hopefully they'll rob the Ferengi blind while we're there, but, I doubt we'll be so lucky. Anyhow, did anyone forget to work on their tan? Because now's the moment. Right. Okay, so all we have to do is hit the hoops. Or more accurately, not hit the hoops, but fly through them. Actually, hitting the hoops would be bad, particularly since they're not actually there, and it would therefore be a logical impossibility, and I'm sure he hasn't put a Klingon intelligence operative on our bridge. Right, which one of you guys is the Klingon intelligence traitor? Which of you is the mole, the plant, the spy, the informer? Come on, confess. I don't want to have to use the mind sifter on all of you. It's so hard to get the stains out of the deck plating afterwards. Right, now then, hit Zigguraviton catapults. Let us go back in time, and there had better be a trippy 80s CGI sequence, given how we're doing this. They didn't have it in the 1960s, so we just had an episode cut. Roll the CGI. Of course, technically all of this is computer-generated imagery, but you know what I mean. And, no trippy CGI sequence. I feel cheated. Never mind, at least we got the classic D7 look. No doubt the bulkheads will wobble if I lean too hard. And, oh, Commodore Ross, you have no idea what's about to happen to you. This is roughly like, I don't know, the HMS Victory fronting up to the HMS Daring. It's going to be horribly, horribly one-sided. On the other hand, he has got something a little more than pop guns, so I suppose we'd better actually put him down. Bam, 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 bang, 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 bang. Yes, and very satisfying that was too. Mind you, that's probably the timeline well and truly broken. After all, given that we just tore a large chunk out of a Constitution-class starship, I find it hard to believe we haven't killed several hundred red shirts in the process. If I accidentally killed anybody's grandfather just then, well, technically you aren't around, so I don't need to worry about apologizing. Ha 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 ha. Right then, lots and lots of Devidians, and even if the scanners weren't telling you this, well, the blue lighting's a dead giveaway. Right then, out with the batleth, choppy, choppy, choppy. Not to mention slicey, bashy, wacky and stabby too. Yeah. After all of this, I'll be actually happy to have an opponent who bleeds, which it looks like we are about to get. This is going to be, what, a 4-way bar fight? And weapons seem so uncivilized here. Let's do it the 1960s way. With the slight amendment that, of course, I am going to chuck in a stun grenade. I'm not entirely stupid. So, grenade out. There we go. And no, don't throw the... Well, that's the 2160 reserve up in flames. I hope nobody spilt anything. Oh well. And you call yourself a swordmaster? Ugh. Punched out by a mere captain. The humiliation. They don't make Klingons like they used to, ladies and gentlemen. Thank goodness they make them stronger, tougher. They have the technology. Yes, indeed. And we appear to have run out of people to punch. What a shame. Oh well, let's go find some more Devidians. There's got to be some around here. Still got 3 groups to go according to the map. Right. Obviously, these are not proper foes. They are not flesh and blood. Well, technically they probably are. Just on a different thingamy-what's-it phase variance, wasn't it? Oh, who cares? They go down if you shoot them enough times. And that was... oh, wow, did he just try and suck out the entire away team's mojo? For that, there is only one cure. Death. Or at least a diet, which for Devidians amounts to much the same thing. Okay, next group. And yes, folks, you even get internet cafes even in the original series era. Yes, most happy. Although you have to wonder, given that this station's in neutral turf, do they really have internet connections to both the Federation and the Klingon Empire? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Yes. Email the Federation from Kronos, and oh wow, they really are greedy little sods, aren't they? 3 of the crew at once. Diet for you. There we go. Let's just put him on... I don't know, what's the equivalent of bread and water for a Devidian? Presumably devouring a Ferengi's neural essence. Who knows? Right then. One last wave to go. There's some blips on the scanner here, and the door won't open. Right, let's try knocking. I know that isn't working. What have I missed? What am I missing? What am I missing? Dooby-dooby-doo. Oh, yes, of course, the first room. There's that little group there, and... planking. 200 and something years later, it's still a thing. Yes. Apparently some fads just don't go out of fashion, no matter how much they ought to. Right. Grenade. And miss completely. I really have got to get those things set on impact detonations. Right then. Happy shotgun days. Get them flanked, so even if I am being used as a delicious and refreshing snack, the away team is at least flanking by definition. Now, I really... if they ever make the Devidians more of a recurring enemy, which I doubt they will, then I really have got to see about getting a couple more copies of that anti-proton beam phaser thingy gun. It would make it so much easier. Of course, it would probably also break any away mission involving the Devidians, so Cryptic will doubtless think of that if they ever bring the old bloodsuckers back. Now then, back to the door, which we will probably still have to knock on, assuming I am not thwarted by a 1-foot-high obstacle. Yes, door now has a health bar. That is an excellent sign. Knock, knock. Right as soon as we fit a proper kit, because as fun as a punch-up is, it's not really appropriate when you're actually going into a proper fight. And there we go. And oh righty-ho, one boss mob, and by the looks of it, a couple of Devidians spamming portals. Well, let's take this guy out first. I'll be actually kind of happy to be shot of the Devidians, to be honest. Not because they're an awkward enemy type, they're a nice take on the standardised models of, well, just about everybody else really, but because this blue lighting really does get wearing on the eyes after a while. I suppose you could argue that that's an interesting meta way of simulating the fact that triolic energy is supposedly harmful. Personally, I think it's just a rather glaring lighting setup. Now then, is he going to die anytime soon? No, apparently not. Oh well, just keep the firepower coming. And it would probably help if I actually bothered to use buffs every now and again. Yes, I am very, very lazy in this regard now. Where do you think you're going? Punch him out. Yes. The ultimate humiliation. The leader of the Devidian invasion defeated in a game of slapsies. There we go. Klingon martial arts, ladies and gentlemen. Punching a person so hard that they disintegrate. Now, with a bit of luck, if we clear these portals out of the way, hopefully that will be the end of the Devidians on this map. Of course, this could take a while, so let's get the extras in. The grey shirts, could call them red, but that's really defeating the point, not to mention inaccurate. Yes, inaccuracy is a Federation trait, despite their supposed love of science. And it turns out you can flank Devidian portals, which is interesting. Oh, thank God, normal lighting. Yes, folks, we have the classic colour scheme once again, and I suppose we should go talk to that handsome devil in red. After all, it's not like he was of no use, just carrying in the fight. And yes, we're from maintenance. It's a accident with a rice picker. Fortunately, there was a friendly Vulcan missionary around at the time. Long story. Anyhow, yes, we're assigned to the USS Blatant Lies, Mr. Scott. Yes. Apparently this guy had never met Klingons before, so I can only assume that he's not... What year did we travel back to, anyway? Because if Scotty's never met Klingons before and has never recognised a Klingon uniform, well, yes, I mean, obviously we're from Maintenance Division 6. Yes, indeed. Pay no attention to the heavily armed, 8-foot-tall lizard that I've got with me. He just does the heavy lifting. Right. I don't imagine we're just going to be able to buy this, are we? Okay. Back to Cassidy, and yes, folks, it was the quickest bar cleanup in history. Oh, you were so brave. Lady, tell me that you are actually a spy for the Syndicate and that you're merely cultivating a cover and an information source. And I can only hope for that medic's sake that blue shirt and red shirts aren't catching. Does that make him a mauve shirt? Yes, and Captain McQueen wasn't brave. He went down like a sack of potatoes. Anyway. Cassidy. Any relation, do you wonder? Maybe. Wrong phenotype, but... I suppose we'd better go find her a drink. Federation types. The station is about to get overrun with triolic energy. We are all about to die horrible, irradiated, goopy deaths. And the best you can think of is, I need a drink. On the other hand, that might actually be a completely logical response to the situation. Are you sure Cassidy's not half Vulcan? Well, we could talk to the waitress, but she is too busy suborning a Starfleet captain. Yes, we shall let the premier intelligence agent of the Orion Syndicate do her work. We shall instead go and talk to the other person who might know Cassidy, and indeed that would be Scotty once again. Yes, right, well, I'd better see what he knows. And we won't even have to apply a pain stick to get it. Well, it's quicker, but there's no fun. Right, so she can't have a fruit garnish, doesn't like sweet. Okay, dooby-dooby-doo. Yes, I'm sorry, no. Fire wine is better than drinking distilled peat bog. We will not have this heresy in a proper station of the Empire. Of course, this won't be a proper station of the Empire for several decades yet, but such things are easily fixed. Yes, if we ever get this guy in a Klingon cell, we will leave him with fire wine and nothing else. He will learn the virtues of proper alcohol, particularly the kind you are supposed to ignite before drinking. Come on, how else do you think it got the name? Now then, back to the bartender now. From what he said... Now, dooby-dooby-doo, how does she like it? She didn't like sweet, so... Let's just try sour. We know she didn't like alcohol, so go with a bit of a kick. And we know from the martini she prefers fancy, ornate glasses. Honestly, if it has to be put in pewter because it'll corrode anything else, then it's a proper drink. Nothing else. If it won't etch glass, it doesn't count. Now then, bartender, give us another drink, and let's make it warm this time. Let's not change anything else. You know, I have no idea who's going to be paying for this drink. I mean, fortunately, we know this guy is going to be dead before we see him again. But I'm just wondering, I mean, these drinks cost, maybe 5 energy credits each. Compound interest of 5 years, plus... compound interest of 5% for 150 years. 1.005 to the 150th power. Search. Okay. Actually, that's not so bad. It will only be... Well, it's not too outrageous a bill, I suppose. Boop. Bang. Oh. 1,500 energy credits. Yeah, I think we might want to settle that bar tab before we leave. And, Bavat, Command, could you not have found me a ship that was not going to get every single faction in the game aiming at me? Right, I suppose there's only one thing for it. We're going to have to disable these suckers as well. Still, at least we can't kill Bavat. We know he survives. Yes. A couple of solid volleys. At least they actually make Klingon battlecruisers sturdier than they do Federation starships. Then again, maybe they don't. Right, on to the Comet. I really, really hope this is the last I see of the Devidians for some considerable time. Blue lighting or not, this is a pain in the neck. So, asteroids, ladies and gentlemen. Zappy, 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 zappy. Strictly speaking, of course, I could just order full stop and not bother with usual attack runs. I'm doing this out of habit, you realise. Standard procedure for me, as those of you who've noticed from earlier videos, is that I never keep the ship still, because if you stop, your defence skill goes through the floor and then you die, particularly if you're in a bird of prey or a raptor. The heavies might be able to get away with it, but the lighter attack ships really can't. Except, of course, when they aren't getting shot at which point it doesn't matter quite so much. But hey, aggro in this game being what it is, now then they're still close enough together, so... get the range, line up the cone attacks, and attack Alpha just to give a bit of extra oomph, and away we go. Fires the torpedoes. So that's one, and I think we can split the rest if we use rapid fire. Actually, no, we don't need to. That's even better. Of course, we do now have the problem of rather a lot of D7s closing in on us. Oh well. Just be more interesting when we do disable them. So, knock out some fragments on the turn. First D7's coming into attack range. Yes, bring your pop guns, you smooth-headed. Yes. Are they proper Klingons? Well, technically, yes. We do not talk about it, remember? Not unless the immortal phrase "half sosly kutch" is uttered, at which point someone's gonna die. And Bavat is, truer than he knows, ladies and gentlemen, truer than he knows. Now, those pop guns aren't really doing anything, so let's just knock off one fragment. Last fragment there, still got the range, so with a bit of luck we'll kill it on this pass. There we go. Now then. Oh good, we've got the light back. Thank you. Okay, my eyes can recover. Let's just see. 20-something seconds on evasive manoeuvres. We're not going to be able to easily open the range on these guys, so you know what? Blow it. Let's just take them all out. And the IKV Curves, yeah, for ramming speed that lacks a certain something. In fact, he's not moving at all. Apparently today was not a good day to die. Remind me to find the Helm Officer's descendants and have them put to death for this Patak's cowardice. Yes. Some things cannot be tolerated, some things taint whole bloodlines, and refusing to obey an order to ram the enemy is one of them. Okay, so with the biggest plasma storm in 25 years brewing, and an episode that will end up in the history books regardless, because let's face it, 1d7 wiping out a whole fleet is certainly an episode that is going to be mentioned. Well, we can leave it to Imperial Intelligence to do the cover-up. Now, it was very kind of Kamen to leave us away back home. I imagine he left it right next to the bomb that would have disintegrated the ship if we failed. After all, you couldn't very well leave a Pach Raptor stuck in the middle of nowhere, no matter how much of a boon it would have been for the Empire. So, we are done. The Devidians are vanquished, Kamen is happy, Imperial Intelligence does not intend to summarily remove me from command and then accidentally throw me out of an airlock, and we get an old school antique as our reward. Yeah, there's something wrong about that, but there is no time to think on it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next time.